So what we're going to do is we're going to write the y equals mx plus b equation that meets this criteria. So what we want to do is to get the equation of any line, we need the slope, which is m. We need the y-intercept, which is b. And then that will give us our equation. So the final goal is the equation. And then we get that from slope and y-intercept. So what we're going to do, we're going to take that y equals mx plus b, and we're going to plug in the information that we're given, and we're going to see what happens. So we already have m, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that, because that's half my information right there. There's half my line already done. So all I need is the y-intercept. So how do we get the y-intercept? Well, we are giving a point that the line goes through. So we're giving an x and a y value. All points come in the form x comma y. Well, in the equation, here's a y, here's an x. Now, in the equation, that usually stands for any x and y on the line, just the general form, but I'm going to use this specific x and y. So what I'm going to do, here's y. I know that one of the y values is 1, so I'm going to plug that in. I know m, I know the slope, so I'm going to plug that in. I know this x value. Now, I put parentheses to show multiplication. I didn't use a dot because it could look like a decimal. I didn't use an x because there's an x in the equation, so it gets kind of tricky. So that's why I use parentheses there. Now, the only piece of information I don't have now is plus b. Well, that's exactly the information I need to finish my line. And I don't know why I wrote m. Hopefully, as you were watching me, you caught that. Sorry about that. So here, this is an equation that I can now solve. I've only got one variable left, so we're going to use our equation skills. We're going to multiply the 4 times the 2, simplify that, which is 8. Then since 8 is being added to b and the 8 is positive, to cancel out a positive 8, we would subtract. We don't divide because there is this plus sign separating the 8 and the b. If they were side by side without the plus sign, we would divide, but that plus sign is kind of important there. So we subtract 8, so negative 7 is my y-intercept. So now I have the two pieces. I'm going to have to mark that out and start over. That's bothering me. Okay, so now I have the two pieces of information I need for my formula. I'm not going to put the 2 and the 1 back into my final answer here because that's just one point on the line, and we know that lines have an infinite amount of points, so I want to represent every possible x and y combination in my final answer, not just that specific one. So in our final answer, we're going to go back to the generic y. This has a slope of 4 with the generic x, and then my y-intercept of negative 7. So this is our final answer. This is what we were looking for. This is the equation of the line with slope 4 that goes through the point 2 comma 1, and I'm going to prove that to you real quick with Desmos. Show you how to prove your answer if you're working with Desmos. Now, of course, you could do Desmos online, but I'm just going to do it right here real quick. So y equals 4x minus 7. All right. So there is my y-intercept of negative 7, and I'm going to come up here. 2 comma 1 is right. Well, if I could get it. Maybe I should have done this on the computer. Right there. It does go through the point 2 comma 1. So you can always check your answers using Desmos. Just make sure it goes through the point that it's supposed to go through and it has the correct slope.